This video will be actually about the infamous whistle register. Now, why do I say infamous? In the development of most of the singers in training, it is a waste of time. Repeat that. It's very controversial maybe, but it is a waste of time. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is an important day because I was preparing this video actually a while, but I didn't have the time for it till now. So today is the day, and it was actually triggered by a question or a post that, a comment that I read by a singer who frustrated about the fact that in inhaling phonation it is possible to go like to a D6 and even higher, much higher, but in the opposite way, the exhaled version of the exhaled counterpart, there's a wall around G5. Now, yeah, that's what I'm always talking about, and that's why I mention the term FLAGEOLET like 1 million times in every video, because that's really where it's all about. This video will be actually about the infamous whistle register. Now, why do I say infamous? Well, because I really genuinely think it is in the development of most of the singers in training, it is a waste of time. Repeat that. It's very controversial maybe, but it is a waste of time. So, point one, why are people fascinated anyway by the whistle register or by high notes? Higher, 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 higher. So when I first started at conservatory, it was like a sort of a perception that the higher you could sing, the better you were. Well, that's of course really ignorant. It's, yeah, I would, if it wasn't a YouTube video, I would say another word, but of course I can't do that. Let's put it, let's hold it on ignorant. It's just not correct. You can't say that, okay, so the bass voice is like the least of the three voice types. Then you have the baritone, it's kind of good, and then we have the tenor voice. That's really the best one. And the funny thing is that actually that plays a little bit different in female voices. That's another other topic. So, and that's maybe even weirder because we're going to talk about the whistle register, which is actually utilized more by female singers than male singers. But of course, there are male singers that want to achieve or that want to control the whistle register. So, okay, let's go on topic now. Why isn't it, or why doesn't it matter how high you can sing, or in fact, that it's an aspect, but it's not the determinant factor that's the most relevant of your value as a performer or as a singer, because the connection to the repertoire and the interpretation is actually really also at least as important. That's one, and also because people in the audience, it's not that if you do a gig or do a concert that everyone in the audience is sitting there with pitch correctors or something and that they are checking, oh, it was just a G sharp 4. Oh, now I get less goosebumps than when it should be at A4. I mean, that's like, again, ignorant to be politically correct. So, what we're going to talk about. I was kind of touched by this comment because I really felt this person's frustration. And so, why is the whistle register so famous or infamous? Okay, so I posted a lot of previous, you can check my previous videos about all the registers. I explained that very in detail, so I will not do that over again, but I will zoom in on the whistle register now. So this will be maybe even the video where I talk the least about FLAGEOLET in the first time, but I have to mention it as well, but to make sure that there is a difference. So, Whistle register is a disconnected vocal mechanism, like falsetto. And now I'm cracking, so on purpose. Falsetto is this. It's just using like the edges of your vocal cords, only the edges. That means that there's no registration, there's no connection, and there's only air going through. That you can compare that kinda with the whistle register because it's also a disconnected mechanism. The vocal cords are not connected. There is no connection, so it can be connected with all the registers beneath or the other registers. Let's call it that way. So whistle is this. Yeah, very high, very cool. I will tell you that the whistle register, imagine a world where there would not be any amplification, like no mics, no ways of projecting your voice bigger than it actually is, reaching like the end of a theater or even like on a festival field or anyway, doesn't matter. Even in just like a living room, the whistle register, I really have to be careful with my words, but it's kinda just a party trick. Just like, hey guys, I have to show you something that you can do. Listen to this. Imagine just that context, like friends in a cafe, but like just a very cozy setting with friends, and it's just cool and just laughing, like somebody's showing like that he can do a handstand, or that he's very good at push-ups, or that he's very good at whatever. There's the third person who's very good at... There's no better metaphor than explaining the value of whistle register in the spectrum of vocal pedagogy. Back to the comments, so about inhaling and exhaling. If you just inhale, so you inhale you do actually the other way around, because most of the time you exhale, sort of, when you're singing, so the breath goes out. So in whistle register, it's also possible to do an exhaled whistle, but it's very easy, or relatively easy, to find your whistle register by an inhaled phonation. So yeah, if you really want it, I'm not going to focus now on explaining to how to reach the whistle register, maybe that's for another day, but if you... I can guarantee you that like basically anyone can do whistle register. It's not that very hard to find. And it's, in this situation, totally useless. So why am I giving a lot of words to this topic? Because please, singers out there that are struggling with high notes, for this particular case, like, okay, there's a wall at the G5, and then D6, and even higher, that's possible. Yeah, that means something, because what's the point if you can't sing G sharp 5, A5, B flat 5, B5, C6, C sharp 6, and then you have the trick, you have to go further. Okay, that's could be possible, but like I said, in a world without amplification, it would not be very useful, because nobody will find that impressive. It's just too small. The shape of your vocal cords in whistle register is actually the same like the mouth shape when you're whistling. I can't whistle actually with my mouth. So actually, in the most impressive thing about the whistle register is actually the name, because it's very accurate for what it represents. So it is definitely whistling with your vocal cords, just letting the air go through, and then you get a very high pitched, squeaky, extremely squeaky sound that is actually not relevant in your development as a singer. So that's very harsh, maybe even controversial, and maybe there will be a lot of vocal coaches that will not agree with me. But if it's not a connected sound or not a connected register, it's very hard to do something with it without that it's just a trick to show off. Even for the Mariah Careys and the Ariana Grandes of this world, it is actually, or the Dimash that does that D8 at that sort of concert. If there wasn't a mic, it wasn't even audible. If you listen to it, it's very screechy. It's just, what does that actually adds to the story of the song or the storytelling or anyway? Why am I going so... It's kind of a frustration of me as a vocal coach, I admit that still to this day, there are vocal coaches in reaction videos, and I don't want to insult anyone, and I don't have the absolute truth in my pocket. Absolutely not. I really have to learn a lot myself. But I do know that FLAGEOLET, that's, again, I mentioned it the first time since I said that I wasn't going to mention it that much, I think. But here it is. That small squeaky thing is an exhaled phonation, and that is actually much, much more, and that's even relative terms, even an insult for the register, much more important. Because, okay, if you do, it sounds useless, but I'll tell you that I can connect that with my head voice. And so, why is that then more important than whistle? Well, because it's connectable, and you can, bridge a gap between these registers. So at a certain point, there will not be an audible break. And that's totally different with whistle register. That's not possible. It will always be an isolated thing up there. And with a mic, okay, yeah, very nice that you can do a high note in the 8th octave or the 7th octave. Cool, very cool. And still, I can do a D8, for example, that Dimash does, or I can sing the Mariah Carey notes. It's not because I know how it works and how that's working technically, that it's easy to pull off in a certain way that it fits their personality as an artist. So Mariah Carey is kind of famous for that vocal range because it's counted together with the rest of her range. So that makes it infamous, complex, fascinating, and also because of the idea that singing higher is always better, and that's just not true. But that's also a thing for another video. So a geek as me about vocal technique can talk like hours and hours about every aspect of vocal pedagogy. So why do I make this video now? Because I really want that, like, I'm going to make a statement, a quote that I just kind of found out myself. So what's the word for that? But when you're done with like chest voice, so the model voice, chest voice, head voice, mixed voice, when you get that under control, that even gets you gets you to sing like basically 80 to 90% of all repertoire. If you have controlled that, and you have the FLAGEOLET, which for most of the time for female singers, actually, for in the classically trained soprano singers, or even not classically trained female singers who use that to sing very high notes, small, medium, and bigger, and do a crescendo, decrescendo control in that area, etc., etc. But also for male singers who can get control over their FLAGEOLET and do a lot of cool stuff, like SOS de Rien en détresse, which amazed a lot of people when Dimash first did that. When you can do all of that, then you get like, then we can talk about whistle register. And actually, yeah, basically, I will never, as a teacher, advise that you have to put a lot of time into depth, because it's just not that useful. So I say this again. Watch my previous videos and be aware of the difference, and be able to distinguish whistle register from flageolet, please, because flageolet is very useful when you get control over it, which takes a lot of patience and is more difficult to find and to get control over than whistle, but it's so much more important. Okay, so this is maybe kind of a chaotic video, and I'm aware of that, because I could make a 1-minute video and just say that whistle register is just a party trick and that it's cool when you have it, but it really is very, very irrelevant to your to categorize you, or to use it, or to make it very to do something with it without or without taking consideration that it's cool to hit notes in the 7th octave or the upper part of the 6th octave or higher. Apart from that, it is nothing. And again, in a world where there would be no amplification, it would be totally useless. And that is, of course, a very harsh statement. But yeah, I'm at a certain point in my life that I dare to do that. And I don't want to say that other vocal coaches are like that, use that term sometimes, that is terrible or so. But I don't like when there is information spread that is really not correct, and that gets people confused, and that could hold people back from developing. Okay, so guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you got some other questions or suggestions, please let me know as well. I want to thank you all for watching this video, and I hope to see you guys next time.